The year was 2020. Whilst in the midst of a pandemic and a game development degree at university, we decided that it was time to make a side project that we could continue on after we'd graduated. I say we, but in reality I had nothing to do with the game at that point. I was probably busy losing my hair over drawing webtoons on a weekly schedule. It was in fact my brother who had started planning for a visual novel RPG called Mistwinter Bay. Sounds familiar? It should, considering it's literally in the title of this video. In case you don't already know, Mistwinter Bay is the game we've currently spent 3 whole years developing. Today I'll be talking about the entire journey that got us to this point. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this story about our 3 years of struggle. Like I said earlier, the planning for the game began in 2020. The planning involved all sorts of stuff like what genre it would be, the gameplay loop, what buildings you could build, what characters would live in town, what personalities they would have, and so on. And here, my dear viewers, is where we made our greatest mistake that would come back to bite us in the ass even 3 years later. Again, I say we, but in reality I had nothing to do with this part. I'm innocent. My brother ended up deciding that 40 characters would be a good number for the game. 40! This includes the player's 2 advisors, the Empress Ophelia, the 6 foreign leaders, and 32 characters living in town. Having 40 characters wouldn't be a big problem if they were regular NPCs in a game like Stardew Valley, where they have like 10 lines of dialogue, but oh no. In Mistwinter Bay, the characters are a central part of the story and gameplay, which means that all of them have to be unique, both in appearance and dialogue. You'll understand later why this turned out to be such a big problem. With the setting, characters, and the main plan for the game all finished, my brother got to work on a prototype. And when I say prototype, I mean it. Despite the subpar appearance, it had the important features needed for the game, and honestly, the core has remained the same pretty much from the beginning until now. There was the throne room menu where you can navigate to the characters' hangouts, give gifts, look at personal quests, start a monthly event, check the character roster, enter the map view, or enter the town view. Of course, most of these things weren't actually available at the time. All the prototype really had was the menu and a test room with some dialogue and the ability to send out characters, which is an important feature in the actual game. Oh, I nearly forgot to mention that there's a character creator as well. Here you can really get to express your creativity and make a character that represents how you truly feel inside. In the throne menu, there's also a wardrobe button where you can change your character's look after the initial creation. So all the way back in 2020, we had a prototype for the game, but it took a while before something happened after that. We were busy with school and other hobbies all the way up until October 2021, when we had a quote-unquote free course in school that basically let you do anything you wanted as long as it was related to game development. This is when I, Wogglawooh, joined the project. To be fair, I had already contributed a tiny bit by conceptually coming up with 2 of the characters, Doug and Gale, but that was all I had done beforehand. Thinking back on it, I think the reason I decided to start working on Mistwinter Bay was because my brother obviously wanted me to do the character art, and I didn't know what else to do for the course in school. My silly little brain thought that just making the characters won't be that hard. It's just 1 image per character, I'll be done in no time at all. Where were we? Right, so it didn't end up being just 1 image per character. The course went on from October 2021 to early January 2022, and here's what I did in that time frame. Jacques, Sophia, Ophelia, Cecil, Camilla, Eria, Lemyon, Oreg, and Seva's character sprites. as well as 4 facial expressions for each of them, as well as making blinking animations for the eyes. On top of that, I also made sketches for a lot of other characters. It was a lot of work, but it was doable. While I was doing that, my brother was busy working on the finished artwork for the town view. This included the ground, permanent buildings, buildable buildings, different versions for each season, as well as a bunch of weather effects. The town view alone took over 200 hours to finish. With our work combined, in just 3 months we managed to take the game from a mere prototype to a prototype with partially finished graphics. Either way, it was a big leap forward from where we started, and we got lots of praise from our teachers and classmates as well, which is always a bonus. Once the course was over, I finished the rest of the characters I'd made sketches for since they were meant to be in the game's demo. I also had to make the player character, which is a lot easier said than done since the player is supposed to be customizable. For the demo, we had 2 body types and just a couple of hairstyles and clothes, etc. All in all, it wasn't a horrible character creator, but if you've seen our latest video, you'll know that we come a long way since then. The biggest issues were that you were basically forced to play as a twink, and the darker skin tones looked a bit weird because of the color on the mouth and around the eyes. These were problems we fixed much later on in development, because I got stringed along into doing other stuff. Yeah, anyone could have seen this coming from a mile away, but I ended up doing a lot more than just art for the characters. I had to draw backgrounds, such as the throne room and the inn, and I also had to draw a gajillion event pictures. Because at this point my brother had started writing a bunch for the game. Things such as multi-events, both long and short ones, and also some character hangouts. There's also the coronation in the beginning, and in the demo you can even go to war with Empress Ophelia if you make her angry enough. The real work on the game had started before we knew it. In the first half of 2022, my brother and I had our last course in school before graduation, which was our final research project. This was quite taxing in and of itself, but we still had to work on the game at the same time since we wanted to release the demo in time for a Swedish game competition that accepted submissions in June or July, I forgot which. As a result, we both stressed a whole lot. I went to the hospital 3 times because of stress and anxiety related heart problems, and in the end we got absolutely no exposure or prize from the competition. We got the highest grade on our research paper though. To be fair, the competition we entered was almost destined to fail us, since the judges only played the games for a maximum of 20 minutes or something. If you played Mistwinter Bay, you'd know that the intro can take up to 2 hours. But what's done is done. There's no other choice but to move forward. We've gone too far to give up now. Once the summer was over, we decided to take things more seriously and started our own company. We also started this YouTube channel and our Patreon around the same time in September. That was also the official public release of the first demo on itch.io. The Steam release was a bit later than that. We were quite nervous about the official release, really hoping for it to go well. What if people hated the game? Well, we didn't get any hate comments, but there weren't any good ones either. In fact, Mistwinter Bay had barely gotten any traction whatsoever. It's to be expected when you suddenly drop the game into the black void of the internet. It takes time before someone can fish it out. You can't sit around and wait for success, so what else could we do but to keep working on the game? The next step was for me to finish the art for all the remaining characters. And there were a lot of them. My brother was busy working on gameplay and writing stuff. This work continued until August this year. We've been consistently posting on Patreon and YouTube the entire time too. We made devlogs documenting the process and progress. Since we're working on the game full time and don't have any real income, we plan to use Patreon as our main source of income. But that was a bit far-fetched in hindsight, and YouTube isn't even an option on that front. To pull it down, we're slowly going broke working on a game that barely anyone knows about. To be honest, if we had been smarter with the planning, the game could probably have been finished a long time ago. Let me go back to the fact that we have 40 characters in the game. The issue doesn't lie in the fact that I have to draw and design 40 characters and animate their faces. No. The problem lies in their story. There's a reason Mistwinter Bay is one of the wordiest games of all time. Yes, you heard me right. of all time. That's because each character has their own hangouts, personal quest, proposal, wedding, married life events, and a negative reputation event. I ended up having to write some of the characters because it would just take an eternity to finish the game otherwise. The ones I've written are Gale, Doug, Lilith, Emily, Eugene, and Yamileth. I'll show you what the process looks like, because why not? You're already here. This is what a document for a character story looks like. As you can see, it's 125 pages long with nearly 35,000 words. This is one character with all its different routes and options. This one took me at least 2 weeks to write. So why in the world did we decide on having 38 interactable characters? And why do they have to be so complicated? I guess it makes for a good game or whatever, but it's at the expense of our sanity. Oh yeah, I spent several months making an animated trailer as well. That was cool, I guess. So where does all this lead us? It's currently December 2023 as of the making of this video, and I actually have something positive to share. All 38 characters' first 3 hangouts are done and implemented into the game. This includes the foreign leaders. In fact, most of the characters are already completely finished. The best part about this is that you'll be able to play all the first 3 hangouts in the upcoming demo release in January. Yes, that's right, we're updating the demo with a bunch of other new features, including taxes, guard presence, laws, the updated character creator, and all the buildings. Why are we releasing all of this in the demo? You might be wondering why we're updating the demo at all, and to that I have a very exciting answer. We'll be partaking in the February edition of the Steam Next Fest. Yay! We've done a bunch of other small fixes as well, like the ability to skip the coronation and improving the tutorial pop-ups. The new demo is more of a vertical slice of the game and gives a much better picture of what the final product will be like. We really hope that we'll gain some exposure from the Steam Next Fest and that more people can play and enjoy the game. I've learned over the past couple years that we are absolute garbage at marketing ourselves. The algorithm hasn't been very kind to us either. I know I've mostly been complaining this entire video, but the truth of the matter is that I'm very proud of the game we've made. It's unlike anything else I've ever seen or played myself, and if I were a regular person stumbling upon Mistwinter Bay, I think I'd want to play it. I mean, come on! You can make your own character and rule a town with hot people in it. What more could you possibly want? I hope you enjoy listening to the story behind Mistwinter Bay. We will notify everyone once the new demo is out. Please play it lots and find spelling errors and bugs for us, it's much appreciated. Even if you don't want to play the game yourself, it would mean the world if you'd wishlist it on Steam. Steam's algorithm only promotes games that have a lot of wishlists, so every wishlist counts. Anyway, that's all for now. We'll be back in the new year. 2024 is not only the release of the new updated demo, but eventually it will also be the release of the full game. We hope you look forward to it like we do. Thank you so much for watching.